So the way I would restructure your resume is, first of all, if you check the job description of any company you're applying to, and if they happen to have any of these requirements, this is good. Another way of trying to say this is that you are in the top X% of. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 2 of the resume review sessions. What we do in these sessions is we take your submissions and we review the resumes that you've submitted, completely free of cost, obviously. And since we receive so many submissions, it is difficult to go through all of them. So I'm just taking up some random resumes and then reviewing them. Hopefully the lessons that I'm sharing and the feedback I'm sharing is applicable to you as well, and you can also benefit from this. If you want to submit your resume and get a chance for it to be reviewed, just check out the link in the description below and you can upload your resume over there. If you like this video as a concept and this series as a concept, please hit the like button and also share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Your subscription really helps us and motivates us into doing much more of these sessions. All right, so with that, let me start off with the first one. Okay, let's look at the first resume that we have got so far. So obviously what I do is we black out any kind of markers that will give out your personal identity. The goal is to help you improve your resume, not really basically reveal your personal details. So I'm just going to go through all of these one by one, and I hope it's all visible. Yeah, okay, it's visible. All right, so let's go step by step, one by one on all of these. So this person has gone with a 2-column layout, and in the 2-column layout, the left side seems to be everything that's more like personal, and the right side seems to be more, which is professional, so to speak. All right. Just by the first look, I'm not loving this resume because I see a lot of words and less meaning. What do I mean by that? I don't see any keywords that really pop out of the resume. I mean, I'm seeing things like Java, C, Python, HTML. Almost everybody has this. I wish there was a project or something. So overall itself, I'm not very impressed just by looking at it. Okay. Nothing pops out. Nothing is making me feel like, wow, like what's this about? Okay. So that's just to begin with. And the moment you have many more words as compared to actual meat or substance, you have a lot of things to improve already. So all right, let's go step by step. So this person is studying in a certain college, 2020 to 2023, only 3 years. Okay, you've done your diploma, so you must be a lateral entry. Okay, that's fine. So already some things that are popping out to me. Okay, I'll just look at the right side first and then let's go there. By the way, what's been blacked out here is what you might be wondering, what's this big square that's been blacked out? Well, there's actually this person's photo. So you don't really need your photo in a resume. If you want to put it's okay, but just realize that most of these are being checked by automated or applicant tracking systems. They're not able to really see your photo, and generally photos are not especially these days where they're trying to do completely unbiased hiring. So they don't even share, they don't look at your name. In fact, oftentimes they will not know your name. They will not even know your gender or anything, because they want to do completely unbiased hiring at this point. So your photo is not really helping out anybody. So I would suggest that you remove your photo and make some space. That entire first part space is gone just because your photo was there. And this part is again your huge name, again not needed, but there's a huge name of yours here, but you don't need to give that kind of a big name. Okay, all right, let me start with the right part. So you put your education here rightfully because you don't really have any work experience, or nor do you seem to have any project. So you've thought that I should put a project, I should put my education here. Okay, fair enough. First things first is your spelling of pursuing is wrong. So everybody, please make sure you do a grammar check and spelling check. If you don't do a proper grammar or spelling check, and if you come up with bad spelling already, then it's just it looks very unprofessional. So automatically I'm losing confidence here because you've got the wrong spelling of pursuing. Then again, your college name, give your college some respect, and at least probably capitalize the first ones, like Abdul Kalam Institute. So at least I should be capital, E should be capital, T should be capital, and so on. So that's one thing. Work experience. So you mentioned, while I don't have any real life work experience, a lot of my courses involved working with real companies to solve real problems. Okay, I'm not saying that that's a substitute for work experience, but which courses have helped you with this? Like, if you say this, then which courses have actually helped you with those companies? Like, I don't even know which courses you've taken. So again, you said it's like going that, okay, while I don't have the 5-star chocolate, I do have other chocolates, and then you just stopped. Like, you've not even talked about what those other chocolates are. So that's what I'm seeing over here. So again, where are the other courses? So okay, you don't have work experience, but at least mention those courses. Skills: good communication with fluency in English language. I somehow little bit doubt that, seeing your spellings right now. So again, not to put you down here, but it's coming from a perspective of, if you're saying you already have good communication with fluency in English language, then as soon as the interviewer meets you, they're going to expect really good English. And if they don't get that level of English, then this will be more almost like an own goal or a self goal. So don't mention this. It's not really needed. Client handling, problem solving ability, fit into the team. Again, which clients have you handled? Which problem solving have you done? Which team have you fit in? As you mentioned, you don't have any work experience. So how can you say you're good at client handling? How can you say that you're good at problem solving ability? Okay, problem solving maybe you can explain through other ways, but client handling or fit into the team, how can you even say that where you've not even been part of any work experience? So again, does not make sense. Looks like you're filling stuff over here. Languages: Java, C, Python, and HTML. Okay, fair enough, but this did not need one line separately for each of them. It could have been just one line with spaces. Okay, so again, you're just filling up things. Achievements: other skills and activities. Head of member relations in IEEE, familiar with Windows and Linux operating system. Familiarity with Windows is not really an achievement. Almost every 5th, 6th grader these days, is having that kind of a familiarity, so it's not an achievement. In terms of other skills, not really going to put there. So overall, very underwhelming so far. Nothing that's really like telling me anything about. I know you're a fresher, so you don't have much, but even this is not really up to the mark. Just the format is good so far. Everything else is just very, very okay. Hobbies: reading old storybooks, singing, exploring new things. Again, filling stuff. I don't really get anything out of any of these. So that's it. Certification: Azure Artificial Intelligence course by Microsoft. I find it very surprising how you guys mention such a critical thing in some corner. Like, it's in just some corner of the resume, and it is like one of the most important things, right? So I mean, it's like, again, just to give an example, let's say you're going scuba diving, or you're going mountaineering, you're going up the mountains, right? And you tell all the details, like, oh, we will go by car, we will have a lot of fun, it's very cold there. Oh, by the way, you should have a certificate to actually climb Mount Everest. What? Why would you just say by the way? That is the most important point. So if you didn't get the example, what I'm trying to say is, your certification here are good. I mean, I don't know many freshers who have these 4 certifications. Bot Aspirant Automation Anywhere. So you have an Automation Anywhere certification. You have a database design from Oracle Academy certification. You have a cybersecurity course Cisco Net Academy, and you have an artificial intelligence course certification from Microsoft Azure. Can everybody else also get these? Yes, but I don't see many freshers having these, and you have it, and you would rather put your work experience over here and put your certifications here. Have you really thought this one through? So I know you might have been suggested this kind of a format by your faculty or by your seniors or by your peers, but use your brain a little bit also. You have good certification, right? It's better than nothing. You have something on it. Why not mention it a little bit higher? So the way I would restructure your resume is, first of all, remove this completely. It has of no value. Putting that, while I don't have any work experience, it's of no value. Just remove that section completely. Next, these skills are not at all useful to you right now. Simply just have one section called skills. In that, put languages and put your 4 languages over there, which then also put so for example, you can put programming languages so and so, Java, C, Python, and HTML. And then you can put things like, certifications over here itself and mention these certifications. In fact, I would go on so to say that don't even put it under skills. You could keep just below your education, you could keep the certifications here, and don't just mention Azure Artificial Intelligence course, Microsoft. Tell me what you've got done in those certifications, right? What have you learned in those certifications? What are the points in those certifications? For example, if you've learned, let's say, from Automation Anywhere, what are the kind of bots you can make? What are the kind of components you can use? Mention those things, right? You just by saying bot aspirant A2019, what do I know what that means? I don't know what that means. You have to tell me exactly what are the things that you've covered in that, and don't go into too much detail, but at least 5 bullet points, or 5 points comma separated in each one of these certification. Automatically your 2 sections fill up very nicely. So remove this work experience thing. It's nonsense anyways over here. Put a certification here. Put those 4 certifications, mention exactly what you've done. The major reason being, if you check the job description of any company you're applying to, and if they happen to have any of these requirements, they will also mention certain extra keywords over there. They will mention a few more keywords as well. And in those keywords, if they find that your keywords are matching with these, for example, in Azure, they happen to mention something to do with cloud technologies, or they happen to mention something to do with a particular Azure, AI component. If you have covered that in your course, mention that here. So when they are cross-checking with their job description, and who is they? The tracking system. They have a tracking system. So their applicant tracking system, when it is going through your resume, it will be able to find out that this keyword matches the keyword we have in the job description, and it will give you a higher match percentage and will increase your chance to get into the off-campus placements. So don't expect that any of this is going to be read by a human directly. It is going to be read by a machine first, and if it's going to be read by a machine first, you need to optimize it in that way. So make sure you mention all of your keywords in all the certifications. That's mainly what I'll say. It's a good thing that you're the head of member relations, and so that's a good achievement. You can keep it on the side. You need to get other achievements as well, or just these other skills. You need to mention some other stuff also. If you don't have, go ahead, do something, participate somewhere. You still have time before your graduation. But if you want to just write achievement and just write one thing in achievements, doesn't really look that great. Do a couple of other things. Participate in hackathons, participate in paper presentations and so on, and fill your achievements over here. Okay. Your hobbies that you mentioned, not really adding any value anywhere. If you want to keep it, you can keep it, but it's not really adding any value. And in profile, you mentioned, I am the person with multitasking ability, and I'm very punctual in completing the assigned work in time, and that would be fit for the present competitive world. Wrong spelling, and there is nothing like in time. I believe in learn, work, and earn. That would feel job satisfaction and profits to the working company. This is grammatically completely incorrect. I commend you on your enthusiasm and that you want to work in a company and you want to do a lot of stuff. That profile is a very generic profile firstly, and it's wrong grammatically. It is not helping you anywhere in any job application. Remove it. So if I had to just summarize, your entire left part can be completely removed. It's just space filling. This left part can be completely removed because there's really nothing there. You'll say, sir, but what about phone, email, and address? You can have your phone, email, address here instead of your such big name. You can just have a phone, email, address along with your name over here. Profile, completely unnecessary, not needed. Hobbies, it's an optional if you want to keep it. Certification should be over here. So you can completely remove your left side, and remove your left side, make your right side much more active. On your left side, if you want to keep a 2-column and you want to keep the left side, then put your skills here, mention all your skills here. Anyway, they're like 1-line skills, and make sure you put all your certifications over here in the work experience, or in your, don't even keep work experience, just keep a section called certification. So that's how I would arrange it. Left side completely remove if at all, or if you want to keep it, then you just keep probably your skills, but not really required. It's very evident you're trying to just take up a lot of space. Okay. And everybody, there is no antidote, or there is no magic formula of making your resume look full if you've done very little. You have to do more. After a point, you just have to do more, right? So you can wear all of the muscle costumes you want, but anybody can see that you don't have the muscles, right? Same thing here. You can put as many words as you want, but there is very little of substance I can see here apart from the certifications, which you've not really added much to. So overall, thanks a lot for submitting your resume with us. Lot of work to do still. I would probably give this one, you get some marks just for having a decent format. Like I've seen people with zero effort in the format, at least. So at least you've gone to some website and put a format and made a format. Other people just copy some word thing. So I'll give 2, bordering 1.5, but I'll give you 2 for this one. It's below average. You need to, I don't think you would get shortlisted for a company with this resume, especially if you're going off campus. You have a tough time getting shortlisted there. If it's solely based on this resume. If you already have, let's say, certain skills based on which, like for example, you passed InfyTQ, or if you passed Hack with Infy, then you might get shortlisted for an interview based on your scores over there. But based on this resume alone, you're not getting shortlisted anywhere, I don't think. So yeah, I'll go with I said 2, right? Yeah, so 2 on 5, bordering on 1.5. But as you all know, I like to be a little generous, so that's what I'd go with. You get 2. But yeah, I would not shortlist your resume. So it does not mean anything bad. You have a year to graduate. Please go ahead and improve your resume and submit again. You might be lucky. We might just review your resume again. So anyway, all the best to you. All right. So others, I'll just go on to the next resume. But as usual, if you're liking these sessions, do let me know in the comments below. I'm not getting enough comments yet, so you have to tell me in the comments if you're liking these. What are your most asked questions? What are your doubts? We'll be happy to respond to you in the comments on that. Okay, so that's this first one. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, nice. So automatically I see a lot of stuff over here, a lot of things. One column layout, very nice. Just a cursory glance through this entire thing is, I mean, you're already above 3 in my opinion. I can just from the looks of it, I've seen so many resumes now, just from the looks of it, easily above 3. I can say, like, greater than equal to 3 for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the details. So you put your name here, which you blacked out. Alright, so you're a US candidate, it looks like. So you are in India as well as in the US. All right, fair enough. Okay. You've studying in Duke University. Impressive. So that itself is half, like, you've already got into many applicant tracking systems directly just based on your university. I mean, unfortunate for the other people, but just letting you all know that pedigree still matters in many places when you apply. If you're coming from a really good university, then it really is good. All right, you went to DPS. Nice. Okay. In another life, I had also gone to DPS. So good stuff. Nice to see another DPS person. Okay. Anyways, let's just go through all of this completely. So Duke University, 4 on 4 GPA. I mean, you're doing great. Activities, because you're doing Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science and Economics. Activities, Hack Duke, Model UN, Investment Club, Hack Duke, Duke Cyber. All right, these are cool. I mean, not saying that this do not immediately make sense to me. So it's okay to keep there. But I'm just telling you, it's like, if you were thinking when you were making this resume that I wish I had like a 1 more line or 2 more lines somewhere, these are the places where you could probably get 1 more or 2 more line. I would not remove the school part, because school part, it just it's very self-evident. What an investment competition finalist leader. This is kind of self-evident because I understand what this is just by reading it. It's some kind of a competition. Regional debate team again, and TEDx club president. So all of these they are all self-evident. Other stuff is not super self-evident, like investment club is, Model UN is, but Hack Duke, Duke Cyber, Small Town Records and Chronicle, they're not super self-evident. Might be very evident to the recruiters you're applying to. Again, I'm coming more from an Indian context, but probably when you're applying to in I guess in the US. So in that case, then it might just be more understandable by them, but to me it's not. So you just do a cultural or a context check with your seniors probably, and check that are these activities really that popular, and that, like, would everybody kind of get these activities. So that's one thing. But yeah, overall nothing to complain about as such. I mean, you're literally getting 4 on 4 on GPA and 36 on 36 in your ACTs and 96% in your CBSE. I mean, you don't have anything to worry about academically, doing great there. I'm surprised you've even submitted for resume review. I mean, I think you should be confident enough that this is great stuff. So Duke University research assistant, December 2021 to present. Okay, great. So you mentioned the date. Everybody, whenever you're mentioning your professional experience, always mention the dates which this person has. Superb. Research assistant, financial researcher at the Fuqua School of Business, developing a computational beta weighted risk index for portfolio allocation. Awesome. Very, very crisp and understandable. Probably just mention portfolio allocation in which markets at max, I think. But apart from that, I don't think I would require anything else. Right. Researcher under Rebecca Dudley on American conflict resolution at the Stanford School of Public Policy. Okay, superb. I think the only thing I'd mention here is the skills you've used. I think that's probably lacking. So the skills you've used here, are you modeling anything on Python, on R? What libraries you're using? Again, it's you might think that that's just a very minor thing, but honestly it's only for the applicant tracking systems that I'm talking about, so it'll just be picked up quicker by them. But otherwise, all on point. I wouldn't change anything here except that just add the skills you've used there. That would be a good thing. Yeah, I think that's what I add there. Rivergate Foundation founder and executive directors. Okay, so you've started your own foundation, looks like. Okay, so held econometric study on financial levers used by USA in Latin America using logarithmic analysis of GDP growth, a regressional evaluation of primary metrics, etc. Okay, largest adolescent mental health study in India with 30k plus surveyed, publication in the Mendeley repository. Recognition, International Economic Research Center, Dutch National Scientific Aggregator. Superb. So again, by the sounds of it, super impressive, looks really great. I don't know what this foundation does. I know what this one does. Obviously, you're a research assistant, so I can understand that. I don't understand what this foundation does. And on top of that, you're mentioning that you're a founder, an executive director of this. A line on this would be good, because if you are yourself the founder, which is what I'm understanding here. If you're not the founder, then you know that you have to change the wording there. But if you are the founder here, then you need to mention one thing, that founded so and so foundation, which does so and so kind of activities. Mostly looks like you guys are doing studies and just publishing those papers, and those studies seem to be more societal oriented, where you're tackling things like adolescent mental health studies, or econometric studies on basically like LATAM regions and so on. So looks like you're doing many of these social studies, which is very good, but I cannot be for sure because you've not mentioned what Rivergate Foundation does. So a slight improvement over there is just mention what it does. And also you mentioned a bunch of places where you got recognition or it's been public. Your publications have actually made it. So for example, you got something in the Mendeley repository. A link to that would be really nice. So, or if not that, like most of these papers have like a unique identifier. Even the unique identifier of that, like the ID or whatever, would be really nice to have. So I'd say that is a good thing. That is one thing that you could add over here. And yeah, I think that's mainly it. Also, what you could do is, since each of these studies are happening at a different time, you mentioned that you've been the founder of this Rivergate Foundation since 2017, and I think that's April 2017. What you could do is mention when each of these studies were done. So that tells me how, recent they are. For example, 2017 is pre-COVID, right? So if you've done this like kind of pre-COVID, then the study results will be different. And hence I would just like to see, like, is it pre-COVID studies, are they post-COVID studies, and so on. So just the year over there would be nice to know when you published it. But again, these are like, I'm trying to take your thing from 95% to 100% over here. It's 95% already good. Counter speech fellowship by Instagram. Okay, so you worked with Instagram also. Pretty impressive. Selected for an exceptionally competitive incubator program, 25 from nearly 3.5k applicants. This is good. Another way of trying to say this is that you are in the top X% of, I think it's even less than 1%, right? Yeah, I think the top, you're in the top 5% or so. I'm getting from your top 5 or top 7%. So you had only 7% application, acceptance. That's better. Instead of making the interviewer do the math, like I was doing the math right now. So probably just mention that selected for exceptionally competitive, or selected for a competitive program, for an incubator program, which has only like 7% acceptance rate or something like that. conducted curation and quantitative analysis of a sizable data set with a host of public interactions and data points from contentious posts. Fair, you did that. Curation and quantitative. Okay, that's great. Deployed a counter speech campaign of $5,000 using data to garner positive interactions, thus resulting in an, it's not resulting to an, it's generally resulting in an, but you can check that out on Grammarly or something, in an increase of nearly 21% in the region based on reasoning gathered from qualitative and numerical metrics. Again, superb. I mean, you mentioned exactly what kind of improvements you've got. You nearly 21% you got. So why even say nearly? Just remove nearly, right? So the increase of 21%. It's good. But I have no idea what skills you've used here. Like what hard skills did you use? Again, Python, R, Google Sheets, Excel. Mention that over here would just be much better to do. Even the previous one, same thing for Rivergate Foundation. Just mention the skills you've used. Easier for you to get picked up by any of these applicant tracking systems. Project/other undertaking. Editor-in-chief at the Global Hub. So 1 second. Yeah, editor-in-chief at the Global Hub. The Global Hub is a forum with a collection of thoroughly researched articles about issues relating to a range of topics from finance to international relation. So see, you mentioned here what the Global Hub is, but I have no idea what Rivergate is, just for an example. Over the course of the last 12 months, the website received over 2.5 million impressions and 1 million unique visitors. Managed a team of 10 writers, editors, researchers, and graphic designers. Okay, that's great. I don't know which year this is done though. Over the course of the last 12 months, last 12 months? So, and I guess this is a rotating post, editor-in-chief. So which year are you the editor-in-chief? That would be nice to see. Quantitative market allocation model based on a beta weighted risk index. I think this is the same thing as, I think so. Is it the same thing as what you did over here? Okay, in any case, you can put it. If it's the same thing, I would not suggest repeating it. Just make sure that you just detail this out further on top itself. So don't repeat it if it's the same thing. But if it isn't, then keep it here. Formulated model where the positional deviance of betas of stocks in an industry from exact movement with market is combined with the performance of the industries to create an index used for market allocation. Great. Again, very well explained and everything. Used by investment group in Hyderabad, India for 1.7x over average turnover. Further testing underway. All right, the years, please. The years would be really nice to see. So when to when have you been doing this, and the technologies used. That's the other thing I would suggest. That's mainly it. Consumer choice recommendation program. Created a program to recommend items based on consumer choice using various algorithms on Python, emulating Netflix and Spotify. Superb. So I finally see the word Python over here. Means that you've used Python to create most like a recommendation program. Most likely you used ML over here. If you have mentioned the libraries you've used, what models that you've used, and if this is a program, would really like to see a GitHub link for this. So please do upload a GitHub link. That would be really nice over here. Or if the model is stored somewhere else, just mention the link for that. And same goes for, by the way, the Global Hub. If you've got these many impressions, just mention the URL of that, right? So 2.5 million, 1 million unique visitors. And yet I do not have a URL over here. So to give a URL for that, yeah, I think that's another thing. So these are how you could improve your things. Skills and interests, technical skills, prior experience in Python, Java, R, product management, financial modeling, Excel. Awards, Young Achiever Award, New York Academy of Science Scholar. Please put the years over there. I don't know when you've achieved all of these. So the year. Publications, again, you mentioned where you're published, but no links to those publications. And interests, okay, a lot of cool interests here. Hip hop, music, basketball, Nolan films. Hey, which was your favorite Nolan film? Do let me know in the description below. In the comments below. Not only you, anybody else. Which Nolan film did you really like? I have a lot of debates with my friends who don't really appreciate the genius of Nolan as much as I do. But yeah, anyways. So Nolan films, Blueberry cheesecake. Okay. Japanese soundtracks, drumming. Fair enough. I mean, interests. Everybody else, by the way, I just want to tell you all, this is how much the interest should be. They're just a line to spark some random conversation between you and the interviewer. they are not really going to get you into a job. So what this person has mentioned here is just like a bunch of interests. One of them might click, and they're all authentic obviously, but I'm saying one of them might click with the interviewer, and that's good. But overall, I think these are like the things that are generally missing out in your resume is you've done a bunch of impressive stuff, like a lot of impressive stuff. But for all of those things, I have no idea which skills you have used exactly. So I'd just add that. I'd add URLs to all of these because I don't know where each one of these are. So just to add more authenticity, like again, the amount you've mentioned here, I can automatically assume that you've authentically done it. But still, that adds that, like, the final stamp of authenticity that yes, I have done it. By adding the URL, it just really adds that. Important point, don't hyperlink it, because many times these automated systems will convert it to text, and at that point the hyperlink gets removed. So don't hyperlink it, really just mention the URL over there. But overall, as I was saying earlier, pretty good stuff. I mean, if this was an application for a product company, or for, like, I believe you'll be going for any data roles. By the way, if you are going for data roles, I would really suggest you have a Kaggle profile somewhere also mentioned. I don't see that at all. I think you might have dabbled in Kaggle. If you haven't, just do like a couple of months and you'll be good at it. But a Kaggle profile would be nice to have. But mostly I do not see you being rejected by your resume. On the opposite, you would most probably get selected just based on your resume for an interview. Pretty strong resume, honestly, and I would happily give it 5 on 5. I mean, as it is, I'm generous most of the time, so I'd give it 5 on 5, even with those rooms of improvement. But as I said, those rooms of improvement are not going to disqualify you at all. You will definitely get through any applicant tracking system, depending on the competition, obviously. And I think you have been part of many competitive applications, so you know what the competition is like. But overall, I don't see any. If you're not getting through any applicant tracking system, it's mostly to do with some other stuff. Let's say probably your coding round results, or any of the other peripheral round results, rather than your resume. Your resume is pretty much on point. Just those couple of improvements to make. So overall, yes, 5 on 5 for you. Really good resume. Everybody else, I hope you all understood what I mean by you can't fill a resume by just filler words. This person, literally every word in this resume is almost something this person has done. This resume is falling short of space because this person has done so much. What does that mean? The lesson for you is the real way to get a good resume is not by this format or that format, but it's just by doing enough in life so that you can fill a resume. So do that. Okay, going to the last resume of this episode. Okay, so I have again a 2-column format over here, and it's pretty empty. So automatically I am looking at somewhere around I'm already on 2.5 on 5. I'm not even like you're not in the better half of the resumes we have received, and it's not a problem. I'm not really shortlisting for any company at this point. This is just for improvement and learning purposes. Okay, I think this will be quick. So you mentioned your name over there, so which we've blanked out. You mentioned your phone, email, and LinkedIn. I think no, not LinkedIn. I think it's a GitHub URL. We blacked it out, so I'm not 100% sure. I guess it's GitHub. Yep, it is. One second. No, it's LinkedIn. Okay, so that's LinkedIn. So you mentioned your LinkedIn here, and you've also mentioned your LinkedIn here. Okay. I think you understand the issue with that, right? Just mention your GitHub link in one place. Oh, you also mentioned your GitHub link online. All right, let me go through it overall. Things that are definitely not working for you. Nobody really needs to know your Instagram or Facebook handle at all. I know it's part of the format, but you don't just put things because they are in the format. You put things because they actually make sense. So don't use a format or rearrange the format. That's no excuse of saying that, oh, it's in the format, so I had to put it. You don't have to put anything over that. You are most likely an Edyst student because the 3 projects you have done are all Edyst projects. So glad to see you've done that. By the way, people, just shameless plug here. If you guys want to do projects, check out the full stack web development course in the description below. We have a bunch of free projects on that course, so do check that out. Okay, coming straight to it, your bachelor's is mentioned. You're basically and even that you've not mentioned with capitals. Like, It's a BE in computer science, at least mention that. It's just like all smalls. Not good grammar over there. I have no idea if you graduated from school or not, and if you have, then what's your percentage that you graduated from. From the looks of this, you've gone directly to college, it looks like. As a fresher level, you should ideally mention your school also. In terms of skills, Java, C, C++, operating systems, MongoDB, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js. If you've done the Edyst course, then you also know Express.js, Node.js, so you can add that also, which you've not added over here. You've not added data structures and algorithms, which you should add. Again, I think I know you're an Edyst student, so that's why I'm saying do add algorithms and data structures, or data structures and algorithms, whichever way you want to keep it. None of these skills have been formatted in the right way. Like in JavaScript, usually J and S is capital, HTML should be all capital, CSS should be all capital, React.js R and J should be capital, Java J should be capital. So I think you understand what I mean. You have 3 projects, which is 3 more than the average fresher has. I repeat, you have 3 projects, which is 3 more than the average fresher has, but you've chosen to keep those 3 projects on the side. Remember everybody, English is usually read from left to right. Not usually, it is read from left to right. Any interviewer who's going to look at your resume is going to always go to the left side and read to the right side. You have decided for whatever reason that your project should be on the right in the corner. I don't know why. So not a good idea. Keep your projects dead center on the left, like those are your main things. Second thing, Swiggy landing page, Sudoku game, Pokemon Wikipedia page are all great projects. If you have done these projects, I know that what those projects are, hence I am not saying that, oh, what are these projects and so on. I really know what those projects are because those are, we've done that via Edyst. Describe them. What you've done is you said this is a React based project and you just put a link over there, right? You're not describing what exactly you've done. I know for a fact that it has to be responsive. I know for a fact that you're actually populating or you're rather creating a bunch of components. One of those components is actually populating values from an array. These are things that you've actually done, and you've gone through technical difficulties while doing this. Why don't you want the interviewer to know about it? Mention that. So for projects, I'll do a separate session on how to describe projects, but really in projects, 3 things that should be mentioned: what it is, what does it do, what technologies were used. You have not mentioned any of that, just technology. You said it's React based, that's all. So much better project description is needed, and trust me, that will fill easily like 3 lines over here. The second one will fill 3 lines over here, the third one will fill 3 lines here. Same thing with like Sudoku game. This is a simple Sudoku game made with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, great, but some more things over there, right? Like did you write the validation function yourself? In JavaScript wrote the validation function that checks whether the filled grid is correct or not. Generated you have to actually generate the Sudoku question, right? So generated a Sudoku grid or a partially filled Sudoku grid based on difficulty of easy, medium, or difficult, using what? You probably used backtracking, using random number generators. Mention that, right? You've done so much, why not mention it? So mention that over here. Same thing, Pokemon Wikipedia page. By the way, it's a Pokemon wiki page, but in that also you've done a bunch of HTML, CSS stuff. You made it responsive. What are the kind of tools you've used in that, or the kind of concepts you've used in that? Mention that over here. And you might say, sir, it's so basic, should I really mention? Then if you don't mention that, then what do you mention, right? So that's what I'm trying to say here. These projects can be detailed so much more, and your entire left column can be taken up completely by that. Then you can move your languages to the right side. You can put your some achievements, some hackathons you've attempted, some courses that you've attempted, that certificates on the right side. But move your projects to the left side and move. So that's one thing. Move your project to the left side. One good thing I will give you is you have put in the links to each of these projects. You put in a GitHub link, which is very good. So now I know you've done it for sure. But again, this is not nearly enough for me to understand what you've done. Another thing, you and most of your batchmates have done the same project. Everybody's going to enter the same thing, right? How will you differentiate from your batchmates when you are actually writing this? Have you gone ahead and done a little bit extra? Have you, for example, on the Swiggy landing page, implemented location detection? It's not super difficult to do. There are a bunch of tutorials online to do it. In the Sudoku game, for example, have you created a way to write hints or a way to store progress? These are some extra things you can do in your a project. So if you want to stand out from your peers and all of your peers also, if you want to stand out from this person here in the way that they've done the project, you need to do some extra stuff. We can't really sit with every one of you and make an extra different part of your project. So you need to go ahead and do those extra things and mention it here. So at least when the interviewer sees and they're coming to your campus to interview all of you, they will be able to say, okay, you did this extra part and you did this extra part and so on, right? So that's one thing. This find me online, completely not required at all. Only LinkedIn, GitHub is required, which can go on top, so not required. And for languages, again, Hindi native, English proficient, Punjabi proficient. None of these are, I mean, from a professional point of view, none of this is very impressive. I already expect you to know English because you've submitted your resume in English. As for regional languages, unless the job role specifies, I don't really want to know what regional languages you know. It won't really help me out, for the field that you're going for, any IT field or something. If you happen to be going for, let's say, a translator role, a diplomatic role, if you're applying for a foreign country, that's a separate story. But for the most people that are going to come to your campus, not really needed as such. So to have these languages, you can actually just completely remove that section also. So of use right now only is the skill section, the education section, and the project section. And you have to do much more to actually fill in this resume. So please do 5 more projects, do 3 more projects, fill in your resume with just projects. That's also fine. Put in some hobbies and put in some, what else could you put in? Yeah, hobbies and some achievements. Maybe you attempted some hackathons, or you've done some courses and so on, so which I mentioned last time, which I just mentioned. You've also mentioned your heading as software engineer / full stack engineer. This is fine, not super required, like not really required as such, but if you want to keep it, you can keep it. So yeah, if I had to give you a rating, it's not really up to the mark. It's very similar to the first one that I saw. That person had at least had certifications, you have projects, so it's roughly the same. I think I gave 2 over there, bordering 1.5. That's the same thing I'd give you, about 2. You would not be shortlisted based on your resume for any off-campus roles at this point. So, but again, don't take that as a criticism. It's just an improvement point. You have a year to graduate. There's so much more you can improve in your resume. Fill in as much as possible, not with filler words, but by actually doing things. Do go the extra mile, do a few more extra projects, and fill your resume with that. Attend a few more online courses, fill in with the certificates of that. I think that would be much better. So yeah, 2 on 5 for you, below average. And I would I think most companies would not really shortlist you based on this resume right now. All right, so I hope that was enjoyable by all of you. I hope that was informative and you all liked this episode of the resume review session. As usual, please let me know in the comments below if you are actually liking these sessions. Please do hit the like button and share with your friends, and hit the subscribe button as well to keep supporting us. Do you want your resume to be reviewed? The link is in the description below. Happy to review your resume. We get a lot of applicants, so it's your luck also. We'll try to select the resumes that we can, and we'll review those. That's pretty much it from our side, everybody. Thank you all for joining in. As usual, stay safe, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much.